Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to this week's Weekly Energy Boost. My name is Elisheva, and I'm here with Eitan, and today we are talking about spiritual longevity, the amazing confluence of the new moon of Gemini. We've just started the month. We're starting the month today, and the week ahead of us has such potent energy, not only again for this week, as we always talk in every episode of Weekly Energy Boost, but there are certain elements that are asking us to look at concepts that we really don't look at very much in our lives, even for those of us on a spiritual journey. And we want to take those bigger picture concepts, some of the most lofty and elevated teachings from the wisdom of Kabbalah, and bring it down to nuts and bolts so that we can understand what it means to connect to immortality, to connect to endlessness, infinite light, and experience that on a daily basis in our own lives. Weekly Energy Boost is a 7-day spiritual weather forecast where we provide our listeners with the most practical and powerful tools to navigate the coming 7 days. We glean that wisdom from the teachings of Kabbalah so that every episode ends up offering wisdom and tools you can not only use this week, but you can use any week of the year, any year of your life. And because we have the beginning of the month of Gemini, this week on Thursday night, we have the holiday of Shavuot, and we're experiencing a broadcast of energy and light as channeled through the portion of Naso. There's all these different waves coming at us to lift not only our awareness of what's happening in our lives right now, but awareness in general, to really up our game in terms of how we understand the moment-to-moment impact that our consciousness, our thoughts, words, and actions have. And it's at one of the most powerful weeks of the year as a result. So Eitan, where should we begin?
Very powerful week. Just started the new moon of Gemini, Sivan in the lunar calendar. And this coming Thursday evening through Friday, it is the holiday of Shavuot. And you know, Shavuot, while traditionally it's known as the holiday of the giving of the Torah, when we were on Mount Sinai and we were exposed and received the light of the Torah. What is the spiritual significance of this event, and what does it mean in our life? Kabbalistically, it is the one time for almost 40 days that humanity, and for sure our souls were there, experience immortality, experience true longevity of the forces of light and disappearance of the forces of darkness. Why every year we're celebrating? It's known as the holiday of the tree of life, the dimension without pain and suffering and limitation. Why? As you all know, if you don't aim in a specific direction, you'll never get there. What is the aim? What is the ultimate goal, the ultimate potential? We're saying all the time, we're here to reveal our potential. And we're here to reveal the potential of humanity. We all came from one soul. And in this physical world, we become fragmented. And our goal is to reconnect as one soul. But what is the ultimate direction, revelation? When the light will be completely revealed, what does it mean? It means no more suffering, no more pain, no more chaos. It means that every individual in the world, include ourselves, wake up in the morning and suddenly there's no opposing force. The force that control all my natural instincts and my natural desire is the force of our soul. Immortality or Mashiach consciousness or tree of life consciousness is when our true essence is activated and the body no longer controlled by ego, negativity, separation, and selfishness. In Mount Sinai, in the holiday of Shavuot, every year we are reconnecting to this dimension of unconditional love between each other, unconditional trust of the Creator, and the opponent, the force of negativity, the ego, the evil inclination, is no longer controlling our life and the world. Sound abstract? Sound lofty? Especially when you look at yourself and the world in a logical way. But that's all the purpose of the spiritual work, to break out of the illusion of the logical belief system. What is our goal in life? Just to be a little bit more spiritual within the confined world of suffering and pain? That's not our purpose. Maybe our purpose is every day to transform towards what? Towards activating where humanity will be anyway, and already is in some level. So you can have longevity physically, but you're still tormented by your own ego, fears, negative thoughts, negative judgment. That's not immortality. That's still mortality. The Kabbalists call death is the definition of desire for oneself alone. Death is the definition of every time I'm controlled by a negative force. That's the force of death because it's the opposite of the force of life. So while as well it's possible that through science, a lot of revelations will allow us to have longevity, but at the end of the day, true longevity is 24/7 connection to the light of the Creator, and that's the ruling force in every actions, in every thought in my life. So Elisheva, let's bring it down to practicality. And it's another interesting question is, it says that in Shavuot, Thursday night, when you stay up all night, reading the entire Torah and some other ancient writings, you are promised to live at least until Rosh Hashanah, until the completion of the year, with no harm and no negativity. So let's unpack it in a more deeper level. What does it mean for us?
That's a big question, I think, because it is one of those concepts that is so human nature doesn't really allow us to grasp it. Even the mind doesn't know how to imagine never dying, or relationships not coming to an end, health not deteriorating, success not diminishing. We just expect the other shoe to fall, or we have all of these self-fulfilling prophecies that we're waiting, we're holding our breath and waiting for something wrong to happen. And at the same time, there's this, it's not only a spiritual law, it's a physical law that all beings are attracted to light. And this is something that I think about often, right? Even a flower or a tree will bend itself to be able to reach sunlight. When a person gets angry or upset or is jealous, what are they really doing? They're seeking light. They're not getting it. So instead they take the temporary energy that the opponent, that the force of the ego offers us. But every desire that we have is actually, it originates as a desire for light. And depending upon that desire to receive for the self alone, it can get polluted and become a desire for something temporary or something less sustaining, less fulfilling than the light of the Creator. So when it comes to immortality or capturing an unlimited version of my own personal reality, I think about something, let's say like a challenge you're having a challenge with one of your kids. And it doesn't matter if they're 2 or 42. right? Difficult situation, they're not seeing something, you're worried about them, or you're sad for them, whatever it is. In that moment, right? If you can connect to the reality, which is the true reality of this is temporary. This is a Polaroid in a centuries, millennia long movie that this soul is going through. And we know, right, our higher self knows that even the most difficult moments are meant to get us higher, to elevate us, to connect us. There is inherent light in every single experience. It's our perception of the experience that often prevents us from seeing the light. It becomes a very obvious conversation when we talk about a scenario where literally a loved one is lost. And the Kabbalists teach that, or I remember our teacher Rav Berg saying, that person, their soul is it's like they're standing on the other side of a glass door, and they're waving at you and telling you, don't be sad. I'm not only I'm fine, I'm better than I was before, but because of the barrier between us, the survived are unable to capture that reality with their five senses. That's really for me the work of this week, is to not allow my own limitations, whether it's biology, right? I have five senses that I take information in with 24 hours a day, except when I'm sleeping, or if it's my belief systems, my education, my upbringing, all of the things that can be barriers for me to see truly what's happening. When my child is struggling, is it punishment? It's not punishment. I may perceive it as punishment for them or for me, but if I can see beyond the glass door between me and the true reality, which is what you're talking about, immortality exists already. The fact that science or medicine is now catching up and saying, here's the immortality gene, or life expectancy, people being born now, they're going to live to 120 at least. That's confirmation that that energy of immortality exists and is out there and is waiting to be tapped. The question is, when I'm struggling with my child, or I'm having an argument with my spouse, or something that I want isn't materializing the way I want it to, how can I connect to that energy of immortality? I'm going to spend Thursday night not sleeping, connecting to that endless blessing, that source of endless blessings. How can I tap into that? Right? It's almost the easy part is staying up all night. How do I access that energy the other 364 days of the year so that I stay connected to the energy of Mashiach, immortality, whatever you want to call it, on a daily basis?
So that's beautiful. So I want to bring it down to a concept called, in the deepest teaching of Kabbalah, 10 luminous emanation, it calls no disappearance in spirituality. In true reality, there is never disappearance. So let's break it down. Let's break it down. Mortality refer to the belief that something is ending, it's finite. The word Ein Sof, which is endless, means no end. The only thing that we know of, our beliefs and what life drives us, is towards belief things are ended, things are finite. It started from life is ending. As a result, we have fear of that sometime. Health, relationship, love, youth, my dignity. If you really break down every type of reactive nature, every type of anxious nature, stems from the fear of something is ending, the fear of something is taken away from me. So it's basically, I believe things might disappear because I've experienced things disappear, and they're gone. The all spiritual work, especially this week, the boost that we all want is, because eventually it will be reality. The question, how many of us working towards that? How do I work to align with the principles? Nothing is gone. it looks like it's gone, nothing is gone. By the way, the whole idea of staying up all night, Thursday night, is to indicate even though it's dark and usually I don't have strength and I have to go to sleep, no, the light is here. I'm awake. So, how do you demonstrate it physically? So, I remember many years ago living in New York, in Queens. I used to travel once every couple of weeks back and forth to Canada, Toronto. I was part of starting the Kabbalah Center there. Yeah, I'm talking about the late 80s. So I remember coming from JFK to Queens, where the Ravberg and Karenberg were there. And I arrived, I was exhausted, and I say hi to Ravberg. And then I realized, wow, I forgot my suitcase, my little suitcase, the carry-on suitcase. I forgot it in the taxi. And I really became reactive and anxious and afraid. Wow, so many important things I have it. And the Rav de Berg told me, if you believe it disappear, it disappear. If you believe it's really here, it's going to be here. Relax. Just tell yourself, nothing went away. Nothing disappeared. Try to feel it. Energy never disappear. The form of the energy might have disappeared for a second. The true essence of thing never disappear. Unfortunately, we're so reactive to the form, not to the internal energy. At the moment I said it to me, 2 minutes later, the taxi driver knocked at the door in Queens and brought me back the suitcase. And the idea is, you spoke about death, actual death. Even though when we are talking the final immortality and the final revelation, even physicality will not disappear. But think about death for a second. Always remember in funeral, the toughest moment for people is when you cover the coffin with soil, with earth. You don't see anymore the person. This total disappearance. The Rav Berg always used to say in this moment, this is the moment to actually shift your consciousness. The only thing that disappear is the external. The real essence is here. At the moment you believe they are really gone, you create a barrier. It's consciousness of death. It's consciousness of disappearance. At the moment you say, yes, I'm going through a tough process, that through this process of mourning, I want to open my heart and my soul to connect to additional connection to that individual. Actually, the laws of energy, true energy, essence energy, soul energy, always connection is increasing, not decreasing. The opposite. Immortality means constant increase. You just lost money. You don't have it in the bank. It's gone. Mortality, death, you mourning it, you going through pain. Or you've paused for a second. Yes, externally in the world of test, the form of the money gone, but the energy itself, energy never disappear. True energy, essence energy, actually doesn't move. You can add layers, you can cover it up, but the essence is doesn't disappear. And that's the spiritual work. Trusting the Creator is trusting that the true essence never disappear. True love never disappear. So why am I going through the ups and downs? To reinforce that consciousness of immortality. The light is here. My soul is here. My strength is here. Oh, I used to have the strength. I don't have the inner strength anymore. It means, God forbid, a person is going towards process of dying. So it's about everything in our life. Why giving unconditionally is so essential to connect with the energy of immortality. Unconditional love. Why? Candle, it's a demonstration of what's true essence is. Unlike physical things, when you give away something physical, you don't have it anymore. When you light another candle, you still have it. According to the laws of immortality, you can add light, you cannot diminish light by giving, by sharing, by acting like the creator, by igniting the essence. What about the times that it feels scary? I don't know for myself. Why should I give my energy, my time, my value, elevate someone? Because that's how you demonstrate the trust that energy never disappears. At the moment, I'm hoarding, worrying about myself, overprotecting myself because I have a consciousness of disappearance. It might disappear. I have to be busy protecting myself. And that's what's causing things to disappear. So all this is no disappearance consciousness, essence and true connection never disappear. And that's the test for all of us. And that's the work. And our job, every Kabbalist, spend the beginning of the day sometimes to truly see the big picture vision through the actions of each one of us and the consciousness. We are here to activate that reality of no more pain and suffering in the world when enough people will know there's no disappearance. And when there's no disappearance, there's unconditional love. Because I'm not afraid what's going to be with mine. And that's part of the collective consciousness we all would like to get to. That's the indication the world is actually transforming. And you might say, but we seem to be so far from that. Actually, the Kabbalah is saying the darkest moment of the day is just before dawn. It appeared dark, but this is the time to believe even more so. Staying up at night in the night of Shavuot represent us. When things seem to be dark, I'm up. I know the Creator is here. I believe in my powerful soul, regardless feeling it or not. This is crucial times in our life. The reason why there's so much breakthroughs, scientific breakthroughs, technological breakthroughs. This is the time age of Aquarius, when our mind is more capable than ever to be open to the idea that everything is possible. Everyone knows now that in 2 years we might not know even where AI will take us. What's the next level? It's limitless. We are more open to limitless energy than ever, but not just technologically, internally.
I think that validation we get from the material world in the form of people living longer and healthier, in terms of just the whole even concept of nanotechnology, right? That by getting into the essence of the atom, we can adjust its longevity or its durability. Those innovations are actually mirrors of the spiritual reality. And the more that comes into physical reality, let's say, I think it becomes easier for us to comprehend how it can look. That's one of the gifts of these innovations is it's possible. There are breakthroughs, and the breakthroughs, I think for me, this is one of the most important messages. Those breakthroughs start with my consciousness. That is, humanity's consciousness is elevating. It paves the way for those innovations and not the other way around, right? It might seem, oh, now they proved it, so maybe it is possible. No, when we start to know that there is no disappearance, that the light of the Creator inside every cell of my body is immortal, then we open up the possibility for the science and medicine and technology to validate that. And I think that for us to have that daily consciousness of when we go to that place, I'm afraid I'm going to lose. I'm afraid I'm going to miss. There's something lacking. Did we remind ourselves that idea that there is no disappearance? I may not see the soulmate or the money or the whatever it is I'm looking at, but that energy isn't lost, and it's just a matter of time before the physical manifestation takes place.
Beautiful. Practical suggestion for everyone this week. Identify one area in your life that you fear is dying. Means I'm going down. Means I might lose money. Means I'm not loved. Means I'm losing my strength. Means I'm fearful about the future. That's consciousness of death. And revive it. Ask the Creator to help to remove that illusion of death and disappearance and reinforce energy of certainty and elevation. Truly being alive is ascending every second. Dying is consciousness of descending.
I want to end this week's episode with a few words from Karen Berg, specifically from a year where the new moon and Shavuot and Nassau fell in the same formation. It's very inspiring, and again, offering practical guidance for how to take advantage of this week. The light available to us this week connects us to the energy that was revealed on Mount Sinai when death was eliminated. Imagine never saying goodbye to a loved one. Imagine the enjoyment and blessings of life never coming to an end. Imagine enjoying lifetimes of endless good health and vitality. This promise from the Creator is indeed our future and destiny, but this week we can have a taste of that reality. If we are only open to making the effort in flipping that switch on and being a channel for the light, means we allow the light to flow through us for the I skipped a line. If we are only open to making the effort in flipping that switch on and being a channel for this light, we can go back to the future and bring it to the here and now. Being a channel for the light means we allow the light to flow through us for the benefit of others. We are willing to receive for the sake of becoming a being of sharing. Turning the light on in our lives does not necessarily take much. How often do we bypass a coworker who looks like they're in a hard time simply because we may be too busy? Could we stop our day just for a moment and say hello and offer a smile? Do we ever find ourselves so involved in our own lives that we do not allow ourselves to feel happiness and joy for other people? Being happy for others costs us nothing, yet it yields us so much in return. Actions of loving kindness are what flip the light switches on in our own lives. When we channel the light for the sake of others, it is we who experience that light. By giving, we automatically and instantly receive. This week in your meditation, we travel with the speed of light. In the morning's new dawn, meditate on the sun's light making its journey around the world. Every moment throughout the day, darkness disappears as the light illuminates the earth. Every minute the sun is rising somewhere on the earth as it travels that 186,000 miles per second across the globe. Take yourself there and travel with it. Within an instant, forests, valleys, caverns, and darkened cities are lit. Let this same light enter your life, offering love, solutions, miracles, and bringing an end to conflict. All that is required of us to access the light of the Creator is to let it in. If we can find the space in our hearts to love each other a little more, we can at last bring the totality of the light of the Creator to this world and remove every dark corner in it. Weekly Energy Boost is available on all podcast platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You can follow us on those platforms to receive more content to support you in living what we share in every episode. You can also go to weeklyenergyboost.com to search through our archives, send us a message, find out more about the things that we think are important for our listeners to know about, and click the donate button to help make Weekly Energy Boost possible. But as always, the most powerful of those possibilities is to share this episode and bring that light of immortality, of limitlessness, of endlessness to more people around the globe so we can do this work together. And as Karen wrote, to really finally bring an end to pain, suffering, and death for everyone. Have a fabulous week, and we'll see you next time on the Weekly Energy Boost.